Manifestation isn't just about sitting around, visualizing, and waiting for things to happen. It's psychology, it's quantum mechanics, it's science. And when you understand that your belief system literally creates your own reality on a neurological level, everything will change. But if you're trying to manifest right now and nothing's working out, there's a reason. And it has nothing to do with you not being spiritual enough or not trying hard enough. It's because subconsciously, what you want doesn't align internally with what you believe about yourself. So in this video, I'll be walking you through the psychology of manifestation, how to heal your subconscious blocks, and the exact step-by-step methods I have used for years to manifest everything I want. Through paths I didn't even know existed, through realities better than I could have expected or even visualized. I added a special frequency in the background of this video so that as you listen to me, you will actually be manifesting your dreams into reality. Your conscious will just think it's music, but your subconsciousness is getting activated by this frequency. So I'm excited, stay present, and let's get into how to manifest. So let's start with why this actually works. Because once you understand this, you will stop doubting yourself, and belief is always the precursor to any manifestation. Your brain has a filter called reticular activating system, in short RAS. Think of it like a bouncer at a club. It decides what information gets through your consciousness. Because like right now, you're probably not processing that there's these sunflowers in my background or these plants. You're probably focusing on what I'm saying. So similarly, your consciousness cannot process everything that's happening in your environment. Now think about this, like when you want to buy, for example, a blue car, you'll start to see blue cars everywhere because now your brain has become aware of the blue car that you want. Your RAS is working all the freaking time. If you believe you're unlucky, your brain will show you evidence of bad luck all day long. But on the other end, if you believe you're smart and capable and a bright energy, your brain will show you proof for that all day long. Psychologists call this the self-fulfilling prophecy. So the takeaway here is, remember, you see what you seek and you will get exactly what you expect. Everything starts in the brain. So when we talk about manifestation or quantum leaping, we're not talking about some magic. We're talking about rewiring your brain's filter so that you start seeing a different reality. The reality where you're deserving, capable, receptive, and receiving all the opportunities you want, all the unexpected ways. Now, a lot of us are actually not aware of our filters. I want you to now go back and be very aware of your thoughts as to how you're receiving things around you. If you look at another person, are you judging them or are you operating from abundance? So what are those thoughts and emotional patterns? Write them down and become more aware of it. But here's the real problem and where most people get stuck. You can't just start thinking differently and expect your brain to suddenly start believing you. There's a much deeper layer that we need to heal first within ourselves. If manifestation is about changing my beliefs, then why am I journaling and visualizing, but nothing is changing for me? It's because consciously I wanted one thing, but subconsciously I believe something else about myself. And your subconscious always wins in the world of manifestation. Maybe you want to manifest money, but deep down you believe that having money is greedy. Or maybe you believe that you don't actually deserve abundance. This usually comes from some kind of fear. It could be a fear of fame, a fear of money, a fear of having a relationship and not being able to handle it, or simply a fear of who we will become. So we end up self-sabotaging. I wanted to manifest a loving relationship in my life, but honestly, I had only ever been in toxic ones before, and somewhere deep down I started to believe that I'm not worthy of love. It could be something different. Maybe you are manifesting success, but you're actually procrastinating on your goals because you're afraid of being seen or afraid of how to actually make it last. So my biggest takeaway for you over here is sit back and explore your deeper inner beliefs. What have you been wired to believe about yourself? What do you believe about the world? And what is that kind of operating system that you're running with that you never stop to question? When you write things down, you actually can process your thoughts instead of looping in them. So write down, what do I actually believe about dash? Pick one of your biggest manifestations that you have, whether that's money or success or love. Then explore your beliefs about them and be very honest with yourself. Put a timer on for 5 minutes and just write and see what comes out. Honestly, this is the work that nobody talks about because it's not sexy or beautiful. But this is what separates people who manifest accidentally one time from people who constantly create their dream life on a daily basis. This is where I think we can take our power back. You have the freedom to choose the life you want to create by first exploring what was embedded into you. Let me give you an example. Let's say you grew up watching your parents fight about money constantly. Every dinner table conversation was about stressing about bills. You subconsciously absorbed the belief that money causes conflict and money causes pain. And now you're 25, you say you want financial abundance, but every time you're about to get a raise or every time an opportunity comes to you, you reject it because subconsciously you believe money means conflict and your brain is trying to protect you from the pain. So it keeps you broke to keep you safe. There's a test you can do to see if you have any blockages regarding what you're manifesting. Whenever you're visualizing or meditating, notice your body. How is it responding to that desire? If you feel any tightness in your chest or in your hands, basically your body is telling you this does not feel safe yet. And that is the work you need to do. Then stop, and this comes from Dr. Joe Dispenza. He says, question that belief and just name it. Just be like, oh, there's that old story again. Just acknowledge that you are operating with an old operating system. Now, you don't have to believe the ultimate best thing about yourself. It does take practice because you have practiced that old story for a long time. How you do it is by starting small. Every single day, you do it step by step. First will be rejecting that belief and saying that doesn't belong to me. Second would be saying, I want to choose something else. Third would be selectively taking the next step in alignment with the bigger belief you want to have. So here's my action for you. Tonight, before bed, do 3 things. First, find a limiting belief that you caught yourself in today. Second, close your eyes and go deep within your experiences and identify when in your childhood was that belief formulated. Third, this is the fun part. You get to pick now, what are you choosing to believe about yourself instead? Now, I know healing alone isn't enough because manifestation isn't passive. It requires something that most people skip. And this is where my first manifestation story comes in. The one that really made me believe in the power of the universe and in the power of manifestation. You cannot manifest things by just meditating and visualizing. Manifestation needs something to act upon. Let me show you what I mean. Most people think manifestation is like meditation, and then they sit back and wait for the magic to happen in their lives. But that's only half of the story. It is aligning internally and then taking inspired action in the real world for the cosmos to actually make it a reality. The universe needs material to work with. For example, if you want to be a famous artist, but you never paint or you never create art, how will you be famous? Or if you want a relationship but you never leave the house, then how will the soulmate come to you? You have to meet the universe halfway. But here's the real key. It's not about pushing the process. It's not about planning and strategizing and grinding every single step. It's about listening to your intuition and connecting to the nudges. So, for example, if you're manifesting the love of your life and you intuitively feel like going and grabbing a latte from this random cafe you've never been to, go for it. When you're aligned internally, you'll naturally feel pulled towards certain actions that you need to act upon. Let me tell you about the time I manifested getting into my dream university for a master's program I'd never imagined I would be doing in just 4 days. So I had this vague idea of a program that I suddenly wanted to study. I had been studying computer science for my bachelor's, and after I graduated, I went for a summer school in New York that was about global economics. There, I started to feel this pull that I want to study global economics somehow combined with technology's impact on the economy. Now, that was super vague. The first thing I did was I searched up the specific terms on Google, led to a tie-up between University of Toronto and London School of Economics that they started just the year before, called Masters in Global Economy and Technology. Exactly what I wanted. But the problem was the deadline for the application was in like 1 week from then. And I didn't know where to start because I've heard all these horror stories about masters. If you know, LSE is one of the hardest schools to get into for economics. And U of T is one of the top schools in Canada. I had to get accepted by 2 top universities in the world that had the lowest acceptance rate. And when I started searching up Reddit for writing a sample essay, they were talking about how they spent months writing the essay and they still got rejected. I was scared, but I still believed it was possible. And the biggest challenge I had was I didn't even have the right background for this program. It said technology and economics, but it needed experience in global politics, it needed some economics classes. I didn't have all that. It needed transcripts, references, essays. I didn't have any of the materialistic, realistic path that it would take to get into a master's program like that. And by any logic and rationale, I would have not made it. So I started manifesting. I started visualizing every day me getting into London School of Economics and what it would feel like to be in LSE and in London. And I would close my eyes and I would imagine the feeling I would get sitting in classes and how excited I would be to be learning what I wanted to learn. I started doing this in the morning when I wake up, and there were only 1 week left to the application. So I could only do this for 2 days. When I woke up on the 3rd day, it was around 4:30 a.m. and I had this pull within me that I need to write my essay right now. And back then, ChatGPT didn't exist, so I started writing on a whim. And in one go, I wrote out my whole essay with the story and everything I wanted to write. Now, here's the best part. It also needed references, and I hadn't made that many professional connections because I hadn't really had a job outside of university yet. So I reached out to one of my old professors from bachelor's, and he was like, "What are you applying for?" When I told him I'm applying for this specific master's program at U of T and LSE, get this, somehow he was best friends with the founder and director of that specific same program from U of T, and he got me on a call with her the very next day. And she said that you are coming from a very high referral. I literally had chills because I had not talked to this professor in so long. I never expected to be connected with the freaking director of the program. By any logic, any path I would have imagined, it would be really, really difficult for me to get into this program. But visualization had allowed me to find this easy, crazy path to getting into the degree. When I talked to the director, of course I had to put in the action. I had to be charming. I had to talk about my passion and my interest. But by the end of this call, she told me to look out for a referral and look out for an approval letter in my inbox. And I ended up getting accepted. The point of my story is manifestation needs to be focused on the outcome, the feeling you'll have, the excitement you have within you, and the passion you have for what you want to manifest, not on how you will do it. Do not think about the process. Visualization, manifestation are all about thinking from the highest self, which is only focused on the feeling and being more intuitive and aligned with the universe. Honestly, whenever I reflect back on the story, it hits me that manifestation works in unexpected and unimaginable ways. If you're internally aligned, cosmos will literally do a whole dance to make things easy for you, and an unexpected path will emerge. You just have to be receptive and open for things to come to you. Say these specific words. I release this vision and this feeling into the cosmos. Unexpected paths and opportunities are opening up for me from every direction. It is done. Then move. Take one small inspired action or step in that right direction, because remember, manifestation is beliefs and action. But here's something else I did, something very specific that most people skip with visualization. Okay, think about this. The universe is ready to take your orders and ready to take your visualization. Exactly how you want things to turn out, exactly what you want. Not like I want love or I want an ultimate relationship, but instead, I want a partner who's emotionally available, empathetic, who makes me feel alive and who fills my life with colors. Not I want money, but I want 10K per month effortlessly from an unexpected direction. Get specific. My biggest advice for you is when you're visualizing and when your meditation is about to end, think about the outcome in specific details. What will that outcome look like in your life? And maybe what will be a day in your life when you have this? Not only that specific thing, but also how your life will change after having it. And here's the real key, okay? This is the game changer. If you listen to this one part, detach from the how. I cannot emphasize this enough. You need to detach from the process. When I said people get specific about the wrong thing, that means people start visualizing how they'll do something. And for example, if you're visualizing losing weight or being a certain weight, you need to stop thinking about how many calories you'll consume, how many times the gym you'll go per week. You need to think about what will be the outcome. How will you feel about that outcome? How will you feel in your skin or in your body? Because when you plan out the process, that's our human minds trying to control everything. And we're so used to operating that way. Our brains only sees possibilities based on what we've already experienced. And the universe can see infinite paths that you cannot potentially even fathom. Now, this is the whole thing about quantum leaping and quantum realities. There are unlimited potential realities available to you right now. But when you're attached to exactly how it will happen, you block out 99% of those possibilities. So one of the analogy I gave my partner was, for example, I tell him, hey, I want chocolate cake. And then I start telling him, this is how I'm gonna bake my chocolate cake. First, I'm gonna get the cocoa powder, then I'm gonna go grocery store and make sure I have all the ingredients. Then I'll search up a recipe on Google and I'll make it, and then I actually tell him the instructions of the recipe and how it will take me the whole day to perfectly bake the cake. Or maybe my baking capabilities are like a 6 out of 10 at the best. So 6 out of 10 chocolate cake. And he'll go like, I thought you wanted a chocolate cake, baby. I was just gonna go and get you a chocolate cake. So the universe is ready to just go and get you a chocolate cake in an unexpected way. But if you're too busy grocery shopping and planning out the recipe, you'll never be able to access the beautiful bakery cake that was just made for you and delivered to you in a perfect, effortless way. This is where surrender comes in. This is not giving up. It's kind of like giving over, letting things play out for you. You do your part. Feel it, visualize it, and put it out there. And then you release control and trust. Honestly, human beings are wired for being at peace. Just tap into that inner peace and inner knowing that things are gonna pan out for you. I want this or anything better that you feel will set me on the highest path, universe. And any unexpected path will unfold for itself, and let it go. Stop thinking about it, let go of the control, and just trust it will work out for you. Now, once you've done the inner work and the belief system and everything and the visualization, There's one final step that seals all of it. This technique comes from Neville Goddard, who is an ancient guru on manifestation using quantum codes and science. Essentially, it's about transferring your wish from just a dream to a reality through the law of assumption. And this is the method that I've been gatekeeping because it bought me the most magical manifestation of my life that I'll tell you later about. The law of assumption is basically assuming that whatever wish or manifestation you have is already done. You're giving gratitude and you're so thankful for it, assuming that it's already in your life. You say, thank you, this manifestation is already done, when you feel genuine gratitude as if you already have it. And that frequency of certainty, of that blissfulness of already having, that's what magnetizes your dreams into your reality. When you say it is done, it shows certainty as if the manifestation has already become a reality. Now let me tell you about the most magical, powerful manifestation I have ever created in my own life. This honestly proved to me that without a shadow of doubt, manifestation works, and that the universe is always listening and you can literally write your dreams into reality. So like I said before, I existed not believing that I was worthy of love. I'd only ever been in toxic relationships in the past. Now logically, based on my past patterns, I should have attracted and kept attracting more of the same in my life. But I had this turning point where I decided I am done and I don't want that for myself. So it was almost like this awakening and this awareness that I'm attracting this and I'm responsible for this. I knew I needed to take responsibility that I am the one creating this reality for myself. So I started doing the subconscious healing work. I still didn't fully believe that it was possible because I'd never seen any other kind of reality before. And part of me was like, do men like this even exist in the world? But I decided to try it out anyway. I was at a conference called Date with Destiny by Tony Robbins. They had an activity called writing a letter to your future partner. I wrote this letter as if I'm already with him, and it was very, very specific onto the qualities he'll have, how we'll enhance each other. I'll read you just 2 lines from this because it's super personal. I wrote, "My sunshine, you are a beautiful soul, and I find so much gratitude in having found you. You radiate so much joy, energy. I find myself in awe of who you are and the amount of growth you bring into our lives. You operate with contribution and wanting to make the world a better place in your heart. And your soul has ancient wisdom that I can deeply feel with every conversation we have. With you, I aim that both of us will create the highest versions of ourselves together." So it keeps going on and on. And I kept this away completely, it was folded away. In fact, at that same conference is where I met my fiance, but I didn't realize it was him yet. I didn't realize he was the one yet. So we ended up not talking for quite a few months. But after I did all this healing work and this visualization, I recalled this letter out of nowhere, and then I started thinking about the conference. So I texted him hey, I was thinking about Date with Destiny and our experience there, how have you been? And that's where everything started. He ended up flying from the US to Canada for me, and from there everything else is history. We're getting married in 2 weeks. But here's the thing that still gives me chills to this day. On that same conference, he had done this activity too where he wrote a letter. And he found his letter months after us into dating, and we remembered this together. When he read his letter to me, it was one-to-one describing me. And get this, both of us on the day of this activity had not met each other yet. So there's no way we would have known that this other person even exists. Down to the physical traits, down to actual qualitative things that are truly really creepy. So we still think that we manifested and created each other into our realities. Honestly, I still feel that the universe didn't find someone who matched my description. It literally created someone or designed someone from scratch for me. And every single day I am reminded, when I see him, when I look into his eyes, I feel like it's a constant reminder remind you that manifestation works. Now, write a letter to your future self and get wildly specific. Be as extreme as you want to be. For me, I even wrote, I want a partner who is very vulnerable in sharing their emotions, but at the same time is emotionally available for mine. Be as weird as you want to be and create the dream life you want. Now, we've covered the psychology of why manifestation works with the areas, the subconscious blocks that keep you stuck. We've also talked about visualizing in specific details and why that is so important. And we ended it with talking about the frequency of gratitude and why assuming that it's already done and kind of putting your manifestation in words like it's already happening is the frequency you actually attract your desired reality with. Oh, and by the way, that music I mentioned in the background of this video is still playing. And I hope you have kept your manifestations positive, and I think you have, because they will come real for you, and I believe that, and I'm sending you my energy. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a creator and an orchestrator of your own reality. And now I've given you all of my best tools to create consciously. I do have another video where I talk about how to lock in on your goals, because like I said before, an important part of manifestation is actually taking action on your goals. So check out that video, I'll put it here. So go out there and manifest your dream life. And if this video touched you in any way, leave a sparkle emoji down below, because I would love to know, and I'm sending you all of my highest energies.